complementary approach. So you cannot, we cannot develop ourselves on board or cannot proceed if we do either of the one thing. If you only do the training videos, okay, you will be at a certain level. But what I am explaining here are the real case examples and the challenges what we can do into a project. But completing the e-learning is compulsory. Okay, let me put it in this word, that that will definitely going to help you in your understanding on board. Okay. So please go through the e-learning videos as shared by me as a part of a training agenda, and go through the videos which and the recordings which I am doing in the training as well, which will help you anyways. Okay. Now, as everyone is here, let me start with our today's topic. Let me quickly share the screen. If you remember, yesterday we connected and started our discussion on the board front end, right? I have given you again, I have given you a very step-by-step approach. Again, I again told this in my yesterday's session. So if you go to this link, okay, if you go to the data modeling, you go on how you can configure in the SQL data reader. Okay, you will find this step-by-step approach everywhere available. Okay, I think in here somewhere they might also have the ODBC as well. No, it is not there, but you will find the step-by-step things. So try to complete the entire steps by yourself. And if you have any specific doubt, please do ask me. Okay. Again, if something is needs to be revisit, we can plan that at the end of the entire training. So let's say after this Friday, let's say after this Thursday, you still have certain doubts about SQL data or any part, we can take that together. But please complete the video from your side. It has to be also done as a self study from your side as well, so as to complement the things, and we can able to achieve the common goal here, right? To get yourself up the learning curve on board. That's the whole agenda, right? Coming back to the topics. Yesterday we started our discussion on getting our how to set up the front end and how we can render the data and view the data on the front end. Uh, the components of the front end are also listed over here. So we have uh, data view functions, charts, mask, etc. Uh, and how to set up those things, screens, menus, etc. Okay, let me quickly start about our uh, definition. So, what is the capsuloid board? You will always come across this term called as capsule. Capsule is nothing but the collection of multiple screens which has multiple reports built in it, mask and procedures. Capsules are again, as I said, designed for different type of business users and can access data from multiple databases. Okay. Capsule contains the screen. Screen includes multiple objects like data view, charts, labels, buttons, which will form a report or a set of reports or dashboards. Okay. Then we have mask. Mask is nothing but a common template. I showed you an example of a of certain website where you find a common template available. All right. How we create a capsule? We go onto the board. We click on the board button. We see just a second. We see board button on the top left, and you see the list of capsules will be provided over there. Once we click on that capsule, once we click on the board button, it will show me the list of capsules. You can you can club the capsules together in different folders. So you can create folder under a folder and create a capsule. And all of these are shown as the capsules over here. Okay. So if you remember, I have shown you one example. So capsule is tagged to a, sorry, I again save the PPT. So capsule is tagged to a particular database and retrieves the data from that database. One capsule can tag to multiple database to retrieve the data from multiple database. I have shown you examples, so there will can be multiple examples where you can design your own capsules, your own dashboard. So this is the landing page or the home page of the capsule. So whenever I open this capsule, it takes me to this screen. And on the basis of a process, we can design different clicks and go on different clicks, go on different uh, reports and do different actions together. Okay. All right. So we saw the capsule interface overview, how to set up a capsule, how to set up a basic properties for the capsule and so on. Once we enter in the capsule, we will be opened with a home screen with a screen name. On the left hand side panel, we see uh, uh, the object list and available options under the capsule. On the right hand side, we see the respective properties. So if I haven't select something, right side panel shows me the screen properties. If I select a data view, then right side panel shows me the properties of the data view. If I select a button, it shows the properties of a button. We discuss about the top icons, how they use for. Then we immediately looked into one object which is called as a data view object, which is in a way a table object. Okay. Uh, as you know, let me open the. All right, we discuss about a table object, how we can simply using a drag and drop functionality, uh, we can design any form of a table. Just to relate you with a normal our day-to-day work, imagine as a Excel pivot. It's not exactly same as Excel pivot, but the idea is same, isn't it? Okay, so you can do a change the access of the data. You can do a different kind of levels of analysis in the data and do different forms of drag and drop and drill downs on your data. Okay, uh, just give me 1 second. I'm getting message. Loads things. Okay, so as I said, we can create a data view by simply dragging and dropping it into the plain area, and you can click on config and you can configure. So if you remember, I have told you three ways to configure a data view. Okay, one way is when we click on the configure me. Excuse me, sorry. When we click on a configure me, I drag and drop an object. Let's say I put customers in customers in rows and save. Now the one way is to click on configure me to go to the layout configuration. What are the two other ways? Uh, let's take an answer from two different people. What are the two other ways to configure or to go to the layout configuration? Anyone?
Right upside corner.
This one or this one?
This one. Configure
Correct,
layout.
it shows configure layout, right? So I can click here, I can go to the configuration. Anyone else? So thanks, Parv. Anyone else who can tell me what is the another configuration?
Uh,
How you can go to another configuration?
Click on data view and show pop-up menu. So and then click
This one, is it?
G. Yes.
Yeah, it is called as a sliding bar, okay? Uh, Sliding toolbar or uh, this one. To disable it, it won't show you. Not in here. So I select the disable toolbar. So you see, I cannot see that bubble now here, but I can see the bubble over here. Correct? Now, if I enable that, if I if I uncheck that, I go there, I see that this bubble starts to appear here over here. Okay. So there are some things which are which are readily available. So as I told you, I'm not going to go through each of this to tell you what it does. Okay. Some things are exactly same as the name suggests. Block format. What does block format? It formats your block. You can make it center aligned, left aligned, right aligned, and so on. Okay. It is aligning the header. So if you want to align your not your header but your values, you can click on the alignment and you can align the value. Okay. So things are pretty straightforward as they are explained. So don't expect me to go through this everything and I am going to tell you exactly everything. You have to explore few things on yourself through a self study, plus some things you can explore from the e-learning, and the remaining things you can go from where? Go to help.board.com. There you will find uh, a new manual. Directly go into the capsules and data views and you can search it there and you can do it. In case at some places you find uh, the data is in construction, okay, in that case you can go to help.board.com and do it from yourself. So you see all these informations are available over here. Okay, everything whatever I am explaining, so you see they have also explained the same thing. See, common configure me or configure me from here, how you can configure, how you can enable the URL, whatever it is, how you can do the things. You can see every writing material is available over here. Okay, so please go through this and you can find yourself the reading material over here. Okay, all the things are given over here. All right, and things are pretty self explainable as well. So please go through this. Let me just give you a quick link in terms of for your disposal so that you can immediately click there and it's not hard for you to find. Okay. So in this way you can have the access and have the reading material for the topics as well. Okay. Now coming back to the training. So data view. In data view, what we can do is we can drag and drop actions and we can see the data blocks. Left hand side is our data blocks where you will see all the MDB all the MDB parameters from the data model what we have created. So you will see the data, that means you can see the cubes, you see the entities what we have created, and there are additional options like rules, ranking functions, and algorithms. Okay. So anyway, these are very advanced training. First, you should make yourself available and comfortable for this area. All right. What you can do is you can simply drag and drop these blocks over here, and you can create any report in that format. All right. Now, if you remember, I told you the dimension of a cube is very important. Okay. And the aggregation is a standard board functionality. Let me tell you why it is important. Now you see in this example, Now you see in this example, let me put country, sorry. Okay. If I ask you, what was the standard price for Germany? Standard price is an average price uh, in any of the country for your products. Okay. So in my database, the standard price is loaded in this cube, and this cube is at a day product customer level. So when you aggregate the data, that average price is also aggregating, and it is giving me the useless aggregation over here. So there are some KPIs which are aggregable, which are non-aggregable. So sales quantity or the net sales or the markdown are the aggregable metrics, isn't it? Which are aggregated. But when the averages or the standard price aggregates, it gives us an incorrect picture. To see the average price, I need to drill down to the lowest level, which is at a product level. Let's say for product chai, I go to the drill down level, which is at a customer level. Okay, and for these customers, I need to bring up the day here as a dimension. Why? Because my cube has all the three even the shippers as well. So I need to also bring the shippers. Okay. Now when I bring that, I can immediately find the average prices. So you see the average price on 30th of April and 8th of May is the same, but my average price or a standard price for the same product, which was the product chai, it was different on 7th of May. Okay, it's MMDDYY, so it's 7th of May. So you can see that 2 years earlier the price was 250, 720, sorry, but it has been down in 2020 to 612. Reason evident. Maybe COVID lockdowns have lower the margin, so the standard prices have cut down. Okay, or could be any reason for that matter. Okay, it need not to be the same. So you see that the standard price cube only makes sense when we look into the cube at the lowest level. Okay. Also at the same time, the same product when it has been shipped by different shippers, okay, the standard price is different. So maybe this is could be a good relative area for me to analyze which of the shippers to be used, because the freight price is to be considered under standard price. Okay, so this is one of the examples what you can look into when you see the aggregable and non-aggregable data. Clear? That's why whenever you insert a block in this area, and as I told you, those blocks get a unique identification. Uh, you should have the access which are covering either the lowest level if those are the non-aggregable metrics. If those are the aggregable metrics, the dimensions which you are using in the rows and the columns should be the dimensions of the cube or the parent of the cube. Okay. So even if my cube dimension is branch, I can put customer country in the access. Now see, now let's take one example where I don't have a customer in my access or product in my access. So let me take employee. Sorry, let me take. So I am putting this working hours. Okay. What are the dimensions of working hours? Month and salesperson. Okay. Now, what happens if I put customer in the access? First of all, it won't allow me to do. But what if I have another cube in the access in my block, which has the customer as a dimension? So what happens if I put customer dimensions as a part of my layout? Okay. you see that the data for the working hour where the customer is not a dimension starts replicating the numbers in a very repetitive way. Why these numbers are repeating? Because salesperson is a dimension of the working hour cube and salesperson is a parent of a customer. Okay. So if we design design it by salesperson, and if I drill down it by customer, it will replicate the same number over here because customer is not a dimension of my working hours cube. Clear? So whenever you are using a cube, you have to be careful whatever cubes you are using in your data block in your configuration and whatever access you are using in whatever dimensions you are using in your access either should be at the lowest level or should be at the parent level, and the cubes which you are going to use must have a similar or a common dimension. So for example, this report which I am going to create cannot be created at a product or a branch level or a customer level or a shipper level. So this report at the max can be created at a month and the salesperson level and the entities which are parent of month and salesperson. Okay. So if I put month and salesperson, or maybe this report might make sense. But if I put a customer or a shipper in this report, there is no sense coming from this report. All right. I can say? I can say that okay, people has worked for 144 hours or 144 days, FTs, whatever you call it, in the month of July 17 and had made a sales of 41. So how many items has been sold per hour? We can call that KPI. Okay. So clicks per hour, count per hour. Similarly, you can calculate sales per hour or per day. Whatever this KPI, this is R, so it is hours. Okay, that defined. Are we clear with this point? Because this is also one of the important factor in when we design a layout. Okay. We see that you can drill down at any point of time. We talked about double clicking it or call it as a drill down this icon, which drill down to the said path or the part defined by the developer. But at any point of time, you can simply click on this drill anywhere and change the path of the drill down. Okay, so that can be easily set up. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Now coming to the next topic, which is called as selections and algorithms. Okay, so we have discussed about uh, and I have been always telling you that board is a programming free tool, right? The language of board is nothing but language of Excel. But till this point, we have discussed only the ETL formulas, which use the Excel formulas. Similarly, we have one more concept in board called as column algorithm, which is nothing but your front end formula, all right, using which you can design any of the uh, uh, formula driven KPI. For example, okay, let's say I have a data view. Let's call it as a net sales and sales volume as a quantity. Okay. Now, if I ask you, my A cube is sales volume, my B cube is net sales, and let's say it is a product. So I go to entities, I go product. And now if I ask you, what is the average price at which I have sold this product? How I can find the average price? Average price is, let's say, net sales divided by sales volume. So price divided total price divided by total quantity will give me the net uh, will give me the average price. How I can do that? You can see, you can, so I have been showing you that you can drag and drop the report blocks from here, or you can click on this plus and add a data and search for a cube name. This is also you can do. Okay. So there are four building blocks in your, five building blocks in your layout. First is the data, which shows the data from the cube. Second is the column algorithm, which is the algorithm function. Third is the entity, which shows the which entity the dimensions on the rows belongs to. Then another one is the ranking function, and then the advanced one, which is, let's keep it today's out of scope, is the rule function. Okay, it is used but not very commonly. So let's focus on these four blocks. Okay, so the first block is to add the cubes. The second block is used to add the column algorithm. The algorithm uses the same formula as we use the Excel. So I need to find the average. How I will find the average? Net sales divided by sales volume. So what should I write? B divided by A. Okay. I want to, you can change the heading of these columns. I can change the heading to average price. You can also change the heading of the existing column. Rather than sales volume, let me call it as quantity. Rather than net sales, let me call it as total sales. And click. Now you see that the average prices of all the products have been shown over here. Now I can slice and dice and drill down by, let's say, customers, to see which customers I have sold it very at a cheap rate and to which customers I have sold it at a very high rate. I can sort it. I see that 7C's imports has been sold with a high rate, and this German company with let's say Chopsy Chinese has been sold with the lower rates. Now you see all the numbers are showing the same, but there might be some decimals available over here, isn't it? So let me go to the layout. And what I will do is I will click on this and I will enable two decimals over here. Okay, now it makes sense. It shows me with two decimals. Now I do a double click. I do a customer. Now I can immediately say that even if earlier it was showing the 18, the first one was 18.10 and the other one was 17.89. That's why the order has also been changed. So a decimal can make a huge impact, isn't it? Okay. Now, if you see in the total, so what was the average price in total? So I would say total quantity sales divided by total quantity. So the average price for total is 24.17. If I want to show some total over here, summary, I can select summary. I can select the total here and it will show me the total of all the average prices. I can go to the summary. I can select the average and it will show me the average of all the total prices. Okay. If I go click here, what is the maximum value? It will show what is the maximum value I have sold. which is 221.89, which is Côte d'Ivoire product. I can see the minimum should show me this original Frankfurt whatever soda it is. So I can go here, I can click on the minimum value and it will show me in the total row as a minimum. Sorry, first it. So in this way, you can define your total in the summary. Okay. I want you to explore all of these options in the summary. All right. At some places, what happens is uh, people want to see the numbers in the thousands or in millions. I think you can relate to this. Okay. These are very generic requirements that come. So wherever net sales are given, I want to show them in thousands. So what I will do is I will click on this net sales and I will divide it by 1000. Okay. I will click on apply. The moment I show this in thousands, I might also want to show this with some decimals. So let me increase the decimals. But the moment I put thousands, you see that my average price has also gone down uh, by the 1000. Okay. But the average price should reflect the original average price. For that, what we can do is I can drag and drop the same data block, okay, which should show the original number, and my column algorithm I can change it from B to C. So ultimately B is my view or a reference block. So I will call it as total in in is in thousands. And I can keep the second block as original sales. Okay. But in a report, these two informations, even though those are in two information, the columns are redundant because it is showing me the same information. But the original sales is important for my average price. So what I can do is I can choose to hide this block so that it is not shown in the data view, but it is used to calculate the average price. So you are originally calculating the average price, but showing the thousands number over here, and hence your quantity is calculated. Sorry, your quantity is showing as original, and hence your average price is calculated. Okay. You might say that, okay, Aniket, if I am selling prices in thousands, I can use the same formula and I can show the average price by multiplying that cube in thousand. So I can multiply B by 100, sorry, 1000 divided by A, and I can get the same average price, isn't it? Okay. Practically, answer is yes. But this is nothing but a very, I would say, not a elegant solution or not a final solution. Why? Because if I change and decide to remove the digits from here, you will see that after I remove the digits, okay, there might be slight impact in my average price calculation. Okay, and that might affect our reports or reporting requirements. All right. So always the most elegant way is to work with the base numbers themselves. Okay. So you can use these blocks. Any questions? Okay. Uh, as you see, column algorithm is the data block calculated with the formula on the data blocks on the layout. The formula uses the block letters to refer the other blocks. These block letters ABC. What are the type of formula we can use? We can use the mathematical operator. We can use the logical functions if, and, or, yes. What are the list of complete functions? You can find it over here. And algorithm can also be of multiple types. You can convert the algorithm into a numerical or a text or a date or in a picture. Okay. So in our case, if you remember, I had given you one example of what are the average delivery days, what we can calculate. Can we calculate them by in the data view? Let me see if you have the days. Mhm. In the data view, there is an option in which format you want to have the data view. So you can use a numeric format. You can use a text format. The moment I use a text format, you see it shows the values to the full length. Okay. There is one more concept of pictures. So you can actually show the image based on the column algorithm. All right. I want you can explore this option, and I want you to explore this option when you go through the e-learning videos, and also if you see that uh, in our board module. Okay, so it should be given over here where you can find and configure the data blocks. Okay, when I go to algorithms, it shows you how you can put up images uh, in your column algorithms. Okay. In this example, this person has also, or this example has also shown how you can calculate the growth over previous year. So to get the values from the previous year, we need to use something in board which we call it as a time function. Okay. And time function is a very powerful mechanism in which you can use the board objects to show the time related or a time function related reports. So in your current working, you also must have seen some things like previous year analysis, growth analysis, comparison with previous year, YTD analysis, MTD analysis, and so on. Okay. So all these type of analysis are possible in board, which are with respect to the time factor. Okay. So let me go to the time function. Let me save as the screen. I will call it as 0 to time functions. Okay. You can actually create your own capsule and your own screen and just name it like this. So name it as time function. So you will always know that you are going to learn about time functions in this screen. So it will be your own repository in your own language available for you, so that you can anytime if you get confused with some data, you can always try and go and revisit the things. Okay. Now, before going to the time function, I have to cover one very small topic, which is called as screen selection. Okay. So you will see that, imagine I have created this report for my CFO to see the financial analysis, and generally the CFO would like to see the data for the current year only. Okay. But if I try to show the report with all these other years, the imagine at a CXO level or at a managerial level, it will be very uh, not user friendly to show all these redundant data which they don't want to see. Okay. So this type of changes uh, or this type of request where you want to filter something out or only to show certain selections, we will come to a functionality called as screen selection. Okay. So this, in a view mode, you can click on this icon which is called as select, and you can choose which year you want to show the data. So I want to show it for 2021. I will apply. Now it will show the data for 2021. But what happens if I go to another screen and come back to that screen? Okay. When you use this backward and forward button, the selection of the screen remains the same. But when you go to another screen and come back from the screen list, okay, you won't be able to see the selections applied over here. Okay. So how I can put the selections on the screen? So I go to the design mode. Now you see there is no select window shown over here. So in the design mode, selection is shown under this menu, which is called as select. I click on this select and I say select year 2020. Now you would ask me a question. What happens if, let's say, we go to the next year, and do we design this report once again next year for the CXO users? Answer is no, obviously no, because we don't do such type of static changes. So for a dynamic changes, you see some options over here. You can select the dynamic changes and you can see enable the dynamic select and the current period. So in whichever day period you are using the report, it will select automatically this year. Currently I am on 30th November. It will automatically select, 30th November 2021. It will select year as 2021. Okay. Now I will ask you a question. What if I select current period on 31st December 2021? What should be the year selected? Anybody would like to answer?
2021.
Correct, because it selects the current year always. When I cross 2021, even from the 1st January 12 o'clock, obviously it depends on the server time and not my client time. Okay, so I might be working from India for my US customer. Okay, the selection will be done from the server side where the server lies. Right, it could be in US, Europe, Middle East, any Australia, anywhere, APAC, anywhere. Okay, so on the 1st Jan onwards, then it will select the current year. There are some other options also for this dynamic option where you can select the previous period with this tick mark. When you're in 2021, you are going to select 2020. So there are n number of factors you can dynamically select, which can report select based on your current time period. Okay, you can explore this one by one either through a learning e-learning or go through the material from the boardmanual.com. Okay, so you will find everything in detail over there. So for current phase, let's say we select the current year. I select yes. Now in the current year, I also want to show what is the total growth with respect to the previous year. Okay, how I can show the growth? I go to the layout. First of all, I don't want to show the row totals, so let me remove the row totals. Now I want to show the growth for net sales, so I will drag and drop the net sales. This is going to be my previous year net sales. You will see there is some option called here as time function. We need to just enable that and we need to click on the previous year. I said apply, and the value showed in this column will be respect to the previous year of the selection or the axis what I have. Because my axis at 2021, this value is for 2020 because it's a previous year value. Okay, let's take only one example to avoid any additional confusion. Okay, now what is the growth? There are two formulas for growth. I can simply use P divided by A. Oh, sorry. I can use P divided by A and it will give me the growth. Digits. So basically I have grown only in one continent, which is South America, where I have grown by 21%. Everywhere else, I have a degrowth of certain percentage. Okay. And at an overall level, I degrow by 22%. So I have not done any growth. I have declined by 22%. Another formula to show the growth is again different. It depends on what formula your customers or you want to use it. Sorry, I don't want to show the row totals. Another formula is B minus A divided by A multiplied by 100. Okay, so it shows me how I grown or how I have declined. Clear? So as you see, you can use columns, sorry, you can use brackets, you can use formulas to show different values. Now, what important factor I have put into is a time function. Okay, let me reset the selection and let's see how that time function has evolved or had shown the values with the other selection. So I will select the time select. I will reset it. Okay. Now you see my database is starting from 2017, so I don't have data for 2016. That's why the previous year sales are showing 0. And for some reason, the growth is also showing 0. We will correct this formula. Okay. Let's look into 2018. So current sales is this. My previous sales are this. So my growth is this. Okay. Same happens for 2019. So for 2019, the previous year is 370, and this is the number of 2018's current number, isn't it? So you see this column and this column are same. Okay. This column and this column are same. This column and this column are same. All right. And here I don't want to show any growth, obviously, because the current 2022 is yet to arrive. All right. Let's correct the formula a bit, because if I don't have any previous number, my growth should have been shown 100. Okay. So I go to the layout. I just simply update the formula saying if A is not equal to if A is equal to 0, then put it as 100, otherwise calculate the growth. Okay, now it shows the correct figure, because earlier something divided by 0 was giving me the null value over there. So now I have put a if else statement where I can put a growth of 100% over here. Okay, clear with this point? Any questions till now? Yes, someone.
Yes, I have a one doubt, Shakti here. If I change previous year value in 2018,
Mhm.
okay, and then I'm changing the value of net sales.
Mhm.
So what's my growth percentage? Otherwise, using reverse algorithm, if I change net sale value,
Mhm.
okay, so uh, previous year value also remain same or change?
Previous year value, so ideally the actuals value, what we are getting, so in this report everything is actuals. Okay,
Yes,
I
yes,
am using the same cube to show the previous year value within the same cube. So the value
yes.
should not change anywhere, so there is no data input done anywhere. But I understand your question. When we have somewhere we start doing data entry, in that case,
Okay.
how the values can be intact, and there shouldn't be any way where we can change the previous year number. So we'll look into that issue when we start the data
Yeah.
entry point.
Yeah.
Okay. Apart from that, anything?
No. Thanks.
Okay. So the time functions are really important. For all these time functions, we need to keep in mind one thing: whatever the source cube you are using should have the time dimension. So for the time function, what we are using in here, this time function would not have made any sense if my cube A don't have the time dimension. Okay. So you to use your time function, your cube must have a time dimension. All right. That is the basic rule. Now let's see the very standard reports, and you will see those are very straightforward and I would say very something good you must have seen at multiple places or as a request from multiple prospects. Okay, so to see any time function, you have to have your time dimension set up. Your cube should have a time dimension. So let's see one thing. Let me put month. Okay, and within the month, let me put day also in my cube structure. And this is my original data. All right. Now this is your original data. Okay. So these are the dates from 17th of July till the end of the year. Okay. Just for the sake of simplicity, I am going to focus for 2020 and 2021. Okay. Now sometimes what happens is you might require to compare your data with your previous year, just given you in this example. So we have seen an example where we can drag and drop the same item, and I go to that block. I enable the time function, and I say the previous year. The first block actually returns the data of the previous year. Okay. Now, if you see sorry, let me just change the heading as well. I would call it as previous year check box. Now, can anybody tell me what this data here signifies? What this 180, 1830, what it signifies? I am using a previous year checkbox. What it is signifying there, 1830?
Sales of 2019.
Correct. Which date and which month? Correct. You are almost there. So as per this data, this is the data for 3rd of January. So on the 3rd of January 2020, the sale was 6474 and you are almost there. So you already given 1/3 answer correct. So this is the sale of 2019. Which month and which day?
3rd January 2019.
Correct. Correct. So what previous year does is it returns back the data for the exact same time dimension at which you are looking into the data. So if I was looking this data at a day level, this signifies the data at the exactly same date what was there in the previous year. Okay. So this data you see for the 18th of March in 2020 in the current in the 2020, I didn't have any sales, but last year previously in 2019 there was a sale of 4,422. Okay, same thing applies for the month as well. So if I change it this dimension to month, okay, and we can validate that. I will show you how you can validate. So what it is showing is Jan 21 current year is 87,000 and the previous data is 62,000. So 62,000 was nothing but the data for January 2020. So you see these two blocks works together. These two blocks are same. This block and this block is same. This block and this block is same, and so on till December 21. The blocks are same. Okay? Clear this part? Any questions? Okay, let's take the next example of a time function. So I will take the same cube because I will show how you can validate those time functions. Now, the next time function. So this is one previous checkbox is available. Now there are multiple time functions given in this drop down. By default, the value means the by default value what is present in that slice. Another time function is previous period value. Okay. Now this is very interesting function because it says previous period. Okay. So when my cube is at a day level, what is the previous period? Anybody try to answer?
Previous day.
Exactly. Who was that?
Shashank.
Yeah, Shashank. So when we talk about data day, the previous period is the yesterday. Now, hear me out the next question carefully. When I am looking the data at a month level, what is my previous period?
Previous month.
Exactly. And when you see the data by year, the data is the previous period is previous year. Okay. That's why when you see, as the name suggests, previous period is nothing but the previous period of your cube's dimension. Now, because my cube is at a day level, my previous period is yesterday. When I create a cube at a month level, my previous cube will be my previous month. So let's take an example. Now, when I look at the data for 2nd of January, what data this 86 shows? It shows the data of 1st of January because it shows the data of yesterday. Okay. If I select this only, what it signifies? What this 2885 signifies? This is the data for previous period. That means 10th of January. Okay. And I reset it. Yes, the 10th of January data is same. Okay. Good. Now let's take a next example. What is the next example? Next example is previous year. Okay. That's why you see earlier I have put it as that's why you see earlier I had put it the column heading as checkbox and now I have put a column heading of drop down. So drop down, what drop down I have selected? Previous year. So the checkbox and the drop down means the same thing, isn't it? So if you see the total at the level, both the totals are same because either you do a previous period, previous year from the checkbox or do a previous year from the drop down, the values will should show the same. Let me change the month to give you more visibility. All right. Now these values and these values are same. Okay. These values now won't make any sense because my cube is at a day level. If my cube is at a month level, the previous period value here should have been equal to my previous month. Okay. But because my cube is not at a month level, the aggregation shows the correct value. So, but previous period don't. So previous period works with the cube structure. Okay. That is important. Now, I have a question for you. I want someone to answer. Think about it. But I want answer from any one of you. What happens what happens if I select this previous year and I select this previous year both? Anyone?
It will give value of past 2 years.
Exactly. So what it will do, it will give me the value as previous to previous year. Okay. Now when I click on save, oh, sorry. It will give the value of previous to previous year. And let me tell you, it is important in this period. Okay. Why? Because, and this is a very real cases what I'm hearing from the prospects. Everyone wants to compare the data with respect to the previous, not with respect to the previous year, but with respect to the previous year. Again, like right, obvious reasons, because of the lockdowns, because of the low sales, they cannot compare, or comparison doesn't make much sense when they do it with the previous year. So they want to take the comparison with 2 years, which is previous to previous year. So value showing in January 21, this 82,000 should be the value of January 19 or January 20. So this value is of January 19. So when I click here and when I click here, you see January 19's original data has been pulled into previous to previous year, because I use both the check boxes, uh, both the uh, parameters of the time function. Okay, clear? Any questions?
तो प्रीवियस टू प्रीवियस ईयर तो तभी हो सकता है ना जब हमारे पास
Sorry,
है
Shakti, you are saying something?
yes previous when we are enable previous year and previous year value both, so we have a compulsory 2 year previous data.
Exactly, you're right.
Okay.
So you see, when I look into the data, let me change dimension to the, oh, sorry. Let me change the dimensions to month. And let me reset the selections. Now you see that because my database is from 2017, I didn't
Yes.
have previous to previous data till 2019, because there was no previous to previous data available for me. So obviously, when you use previous to previous data, it is assumed that you should have at least 2 years of data. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have a 2016 and 2017 previous year value, okay,
Mhm.
then we are enable previous year and previous year value both. So,
Mhm.
so um, uh, is it possible for 4 year data, 4 year like data
I
is
will come to
not?
that. Yes, it is possible. It is possible. Okay, I will come to that. Just bear with me for next 5 minutes. It is coming. Okay. Anyway, let me take this question straight away. So yeah, there might be a question point that where the client wants to refer to the previous 3 year of data or previous 4 year of data, or for that matter previous any period of data. All right. So when you go to the time function, all right, within the function you will find something called as, sorry, not function. Within the time function you will find something called as period offset. All right. So if you want to see the data and if your cube is at a year level, you can put previous offset as -1. So it will show the data of previous year. Use the data of -2, it will show the data of -2 years. Put -3, it will show the data of -3 years, and -4, and so on. So basically you can show any number of data of previous year. Because my cube is at a day level, okay, and I want to show the 3 years of data back, so I will just do 365 very roughly. So 1095, I will do a period offset of minus 1095 and apply. So it should show me the data of previous 3 years or last 3 years in the back. So ideally, the data what I am seeing at 1st January 2021, which is 86, should be equal to 1st January 2018, more or less. Obviously, in case it doesn't have a leap year, because I have not done a very accurate offset here. Okay. So you see, when such kind of a request comes, we need to handle it using a cube structure as well. In that case, you cannot have your cube at a day level. I would recommend to have your cube at a month level at least. So you can at least do minus 36 or minus 48 rather than doing an offset at a day level. Okay. This is what I would advise. Nevertheless, you must have got the concept now. Okay. So let me do it here. Period of. Okay. Let me quickly take you to the other time functions. The ones which is favorite of every finance people, for that matter everyone, is the yearly cumulated value. You click that and it will show you the value for the yearly aggregation YTD. Okay. So the values keeps on increasing till when? Till December 31st of that month, and again resets from the first year, and again keeps on increasing. I don't need to go into that. I think everyone knows what the YTD is, or the yearly cumulative value is. All right. Another one function is yearly moving total. So the YTD stands for, let's say, 12-month, or for that matter 12-month or 365 or 366 days, based on the number of days in a year, and it aggregates the number. Okay. To show you the yearly moving total, let me show it to at a month level so that you will have a better picture. So you see all these YTD numbers are aggregated till the month of December. Then it resets to the Jan, and it keeps on aggregating the numbers till the next year. Now you see I don't have any number from July 21 onwards. So every number is same because the sale is 0. So cumulated number is same, right? The only thing I am seeing missing here is the okay, and you can explore this time functions over here. Okay, period offset is 0. It is 0. Close. Save. The value should have come here. We'll check that later. Anyways, the next part which I was showing you is the yearly moving total. So there are some cases where you would like to see the total for specific months together. Okay. Yearly total totals the values till the end of the year. But let's say you want to show the yearly total or yearly total for only, let's say, 3 months. For such cases, we use something called as yearly moving total. So when we use the yearly moving total and yearly moving average, we need to use the period offset and the cycle together. Okay. So if I need to include the existing month in my total, I will use offset 0, and let's say I need to see a quarterly total. So I will quarterly moving total. So I will just select 3 and I will say yes. So you will see that Sorry, I need to put day over here. Not quarter. Let me put 7 as a week total. Okay. All right. So, and let me remove the selections. So what I will see, the yearly moving total will sum up for the 7 days recurrently. So if I export this into Excel, by the way, you can export any report in Excel. Just click on this icon, go to the export to Excel as. I want to export, let's say, in the same format. I click on export, and the same report will be downloaded here in Excel format. Okay. So this way, board is integrated with Excel very heavily. So what is a yearly moving total? So what I am showing here is total of last 7 days. So here the total is of last 2 days because there is nothing. Oh, sorry, there is nothing beyond that. So last 2 days. Six, seven. To be last 7 days, correct? So let's sum it up over here. You can understand this is the same total. And so on. So you see the numbers will always make sense. Okay. Now, when I go to the next day, what it is showing? It is showing me the sum of last 7 days. Okay. And which last 7 days? The days which are part of my data. So for 19, sorry, the days which are a part of my report, part of my backend. So if I say what will be the sum for last 7 days for 25th, so it should come as the sum of all these days. So if everything was 0 here on the last 7 days, my last 7 days should have come 0. So a yearly moving total always works with your always works with your period offset. So you see the data is shown over here. Now I can choose to show the total with the current date or exclude the current date. For that, what I need to do? I need to use the period offset. So I want to exclude the current day. I just use it as -1. So it will shift the offset of the 7 days from the previous day and so on. Okay. So in this way, previous yearly moving total works. What I would recommend to you is please create a similar report what I am doing here. Okay. Export this into Excel and create a formula like this and make sure your values are correct what are showing over here. So when these values are matched with these formulas, I will say that you got the concept immediately, right? Because then you already know how the board works in that way. Similar way, how this yearly moving total works, our yearly moving average also works. So if you want to have the average of last 7 days, average of last 15 days, average of 1 week, and so on, you can create using yearly moving average. Okay. So you can keep it as yearly moving average. You can put a time function, time function, yearly moving average, period offset -1, and the cycle is 7. Okay. You should be able to do this. Now the last factor which I discourage multiple times to use, but it is very used rarely because it's very uh, uh, might be confusing for others, but it is very important one, which is called as last value. It's good to have to know for it, but I discourage people to use it. The last value actually does is it copies the value of the current day if you have any zero figures. Okay, let me tell you what I means. I will save it, and it is also a performance heavy. So you see the entire performance of my report has gone for a toss because I am using a last value. Okay, that's why I discourage using the last value in any of the reports or anywhere. Okay, because it's very dangerous to use because you cannot explain sometimes some number at certain places.
So the last value displays last non-zero value of the time series.
Exactly, yes, yes. To sum
okay.
it up, yes. So
Okay, thank
while
you.
that loads, let me show you here how the last value works. So if we have a last value, so what value it copies here? It copies the same value which is present over here. Okay. So till this 3 days, it copies the same value. Then for the next 2 days, the value was 0, correct? So the last value copies, what it does is it copies the same value for those 2 days. Then again, it goes back to the same value. If I would like to convert this into an Excel formula, how I will do that? How I will do that is equal to if my current period value is 0, then take the value of my previous period. Otherwise, take the value of the current period. Okay. This is the way in which I will create that in Excel as well. Got it? Very interesting and very slow functions, frankly speaking. As you can see, it takes a whole lot of time to load. Okay. So focus on this Excel because of the report. It will again take some more time. And as I said, uh, the functions like previous period, last value, uh, yearly moving total, yearly moving average. This works in conjunction with the cube dimension. So if your cube dimension is day, it works correctly at a day level. If it is at a month, it correctly works at a month level and so on. Okay. So that's how the time functions are there and sorry, mistake. That's how the time function works. Okay. Any questions? Now, the other block in the tables I had already Some of the example are very uh, self-explanatory. So let's go through the slides one by one. So we talk about drilling, where we see the user-defined, developer-defined drill down or a user-defined drill down. Then we talked about the selections and the column algorithms. We talked about having column algorithms as a text or image and so on. Then we discuss about how the time functions are, where you define the times functions and what are these time functions in detail are explained. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this slide and it would be helpful for you to analyze it later. Okay. Then we talked about select window, where I showed you the selection, how you can focus on a certain selection, how you can do a dynamic selection, and or how you can reset the selections. Other things are self-explanatory. Okay. We talked about dynamic selection, how the current date work. We can also use a select based on. So if we want to use a select based on, we can use and do some selection based on the non-zero values in that queue. Okay. Now, just one important factor over here. All right. You can't expect user to see and to go here and select, deselect and remove the selections over here. To facilitate this selection, what we have created is, or what board have created is, let me just first remove the last value, otherwise our whole time will be taken by this to load. And now you know the reason why I discourage the last value. Okay, because it takes a huge amount of time to load. It is again stuck. Facilitate, what I was about to say is to facilitate the selections on the screen. Board has been provided with two objects. One is called as selector, which lets you select the multiple, allows you to select multiple members for on the screen. Another one is called as pressure, which is a drop down, where once you see the drop down, it will select. Let me show you very useful information which I use sometimes a lot. So this is something someone has created a website to track latest COVID cases in India. So if you select any one of the state in India, for example, you see there is a drop down given over here. So if I select a drop down of Mumbai, okay, all the data in this drop down will show the data for Mumbai itself. So whatever the cases I am going to see here are for Mumbai. If I select some other city, let's say, uh, another city, which is Thane. So you see the number is changed to that city. So you see the selection on the criteria changes, the data on the report changes with respect to the selections given. So it can be selected either through a drop down like this, which is called as pager, or you can do a multiple selections with a select object. Okay. Uh, Let me show you here. Save. Let me save as 03 pager selector. Okay. So the pager selector is applied to the entire screen. All right. So what I do is from where I can draw the pager, go to here, drag and drop the pager, drag and drop the selector. Now, what selection does this pager do? You need to select on that, the pager properties will open. You need to select uh, that entity. So let's say I want to select it for year. Okay. And for the selector, I need to click on this selector properties appear. I will select, let's say, countries. Okay. And I save this. Now, when I select 1 year over here, let's say 2021, the entire report will show the data for 2021 only. And when I select one particular customer country, which is let's say UK or Germany together, the entire data will show the data for only UK and Germany together over here. Okay, clear with this point? That's how the project and selector are shown. Sorting is nothing but you can sort by either clicking on the header of the table, or by default if you want to sort, you can go to the layout. There is an option called as filter. You can sort basis on certain rows, you can filter on the basis of certain rows. Okay, you can look into it on the e-learning. All right. The next function is the ranking function. Then we will look into the alerts, and then I will keep the other block settings for you to look into. Okay. So the first is the ranking function. It's a very straightforward function as the name suggests. Ranking means I want to rank or give some rank on some criteria or rank these rows. What I need to do is I need to go to the layout. Okay. Click on this plus, go on this ranking area. Okay. And what I want to show? I want to show what is the percentage of each of the day, or rather each of the month within that year. So I have selected year 2021. Okay. I convert this report to, let's say, month. You see the total of this will become 100. If you see the total here, what this 26 let me use 2020. Okay. And let me use the total. So what this vertical percentage does, vertical percentage shows you the percentage of that row with respect to the total of that row. That means who is the highest contributor, what month has contributed highest in my year? June 20, because it is 90% contribution. Okay. You can create this as a cumulated contribution as well. So I will go to the data layout, go to the ranking and use cumulated vertical percentage. So it will keep on adding. So 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 7, 14, 14 plus 3, 17, and so on. Okay. This is very straightforward. As the name suggests, you can go through the e-learning and learn yourself in terms of your ranking functions. If you have any specific doubt with respect to it, please do raise it in the next session. Okay. Now, the last topic and the one of the important topic is the alert mechanism. So you can actually place the alert somewhere on the reports. Okay, so that it follows the conditional formatting. In if I want to say it in one word, how this feature is relatable, this feature is exactly related to the conditional formatting in Excel. So for example, if I want to highlight those months which has contributed more than 8% or more than 10% should be green, 10 to 5% should be amber, and less than 5% should be red. Okay, how I can do that? I go to the layout, I go to the vertical percentage, I say color alert, I want to show the difference. So this will alert the numbers, this will show the background, this will show only the background, and this is the something which people like is the traffic signal alerts. All right. So what I am saying, less than 2 is red, between 2 and let's say 8 is amber, and more than 8 is, oh sorry, less than 5 is red, between 5 and 8 is amber, 5 and 10 is amber, let's say, and more than 10 is green. So I will apply here, I will say, and the alerts are applied over here. Sort it, you will see it. Okay, it's as simple as that. You based on one block, you can provide the alert on another block. So based on the percentage, I can also alert another column. I select that column, I enable the color alert. I select which block is used for alert. I say vertical. Okay. And apply the, let's say, same formula. I don't remember, 5 or 10, red, amber, green, and done. Now you see here it's a traffic signal. Here are the numbers. If I want to run the background, color the background, I will just select and I will use this to color the background. Okay, clear till here? The other data blocks are uh, view block, which I told you, alerts. Then we have time function, analytical functions, data block. Then you have data entry, which we are going to learn in tomorrow's session. One is the block reference. If you want to put some selection on any of the block reference, you can do that with respect to some uh, reference. Uh, please go through this in the e-learning. If you have any questions, come back to me on this. Okay. Now you will see that once we have covered this layout configuration, it is a piece of cake to do the next charts. All right. So let's break out for the 10 minutes and uh, let's connect in 10 minutes to start with the charts. All right. Or rather, let me check how much time is remaining. I don't see we have time for break. Sorry. Yeah, I think we have time. Yeah. So let's break for, let's say, 6 minutes and uh, let's connect in 6 minutes. All right. Hello everyone, sorry, I am late. We'll start in 1 minute. Okay. Any particular question till we start with the next topic? Anything you have in what we learn? As you keep on doing some hands-on, you will, I would say, you will get a better grip on these options. And again, you might see on a prima facie that okay, how many are those options? How can I remember this? Okay. The moment you get your hands-on practice, your brain will automatically recall the thing. So don't worry about it. It's on my experience. Okay. Again, if you don't find anything, always what you always have the board manual site with you. Just search here, anything here. You know the yearly cumulated something. You search here, provided your spelling is correct. No, it is correct. You will find it over here. Okay. Now the next object in our topic is charts. Again, because I have spent much time on the layout configuration, you will see how fast now we will understand the charts. Okay. The charts again, what are charts? The charts are the object to show the data visually. The object change the way the user may interact with the information, and you need to highly interactive, which provides some additional features on the chat. And charts always catches the eyes of the user to if you want to raise anything here. For example, in the chat below, if I ask you immediately what is the lowest performing month, you can immediately say that okay, this is the month who is lowest performing. But if I told you and asked you the same question in this table, what is the lowest performing year, you need to see, oh, where is the total, where I can find it, and so on. Okay, so that is why the charts, the pictorial information are really important. The chart objects complements and can be used in conjunction with the existing screen objects, like you can have multiple charts, data views clubbed together. Okay. So what are the charts? How you can create a chart? First, I will show you how you can create a chart, and then we'll see how. Let me change the screen name, pages selector, and charts. Or rather, let me just save it as. Oh, by mistake, I haven't saved the alerts. So, anyways, we will create that again. So when I go to the charts, you will see that also. Let's say I want to show a country-wise sales trend in a chart. What I will do, I go to the design mode. Okay, I go to the select objects. Just you will see the list of charts. There are this type of charts. Drag and drop the Cartesian chart. Same thing, configure me. Drag and drop the net sales. You want to show it by country, right? So drag and drop the country. Okay. And you want to show what? Don't want to show the total, so it is not there. I don't want to show total, so it is there. I want to show different lines for different countries rather. So it should be the series and month should be the category. All right, I will save. Something has hanged. Just a minute. Okay, so you can see the charts over here. Now let me select three, four countries. I will select. You will see that my Spain, or sorry, Germany is the best performing trains, giving the best performing train. Okay. What you can do is, if you want to see the percentage share of each of the continent, right? What you can do, I need a continent. So what I will do is I can just simply go to the layout of this continent report. I want to show this, sorry, before the share percentage share, I want to show only this report in a graphical format. I simply copy the layout of this report. I drag and drop the chart. Okay. As I said, most of the time goes in setting up where to go what, which anyway, I'm not going to focus now. The reports are getting very slow. I just paste it over here. I say yes. And the same report has been rather than month. Year, let me show month because I have selected only 1 year. All right. The same has been shown to me here. So you can use as a line area or a bar graph. You can see different bars, or you can use different types of series like spine, step line, step area. So you can show it in multiple ways. Okay, so this is the way you can create any report and get any type of chart created. Important thing to notice in here is it has to be meaningful data. Okay, for example, let me tell you one example, which is a smarter example, and I expect and it is evident from the data itself. For example, so let's say I want to show a pie graph and I want to show the percentage share of each country within that year. I select the net sales, I drop the country, okay, and I simply save. Now, typically, what is there? My USA has the highest percentage share, which is 20. Okay. Now, if I select certain countries, as I told you, the every report changes as per the selections on your screen. So the moment you change your selection, you see US goes for a toss. There is no US shown over here. Okay. So typically, whenever you are using a pie chart, your selection should also go hand in hand with that pie chart. This doesn't make any sense because there is no year selected. So we have to make 1 year select, which is 2020, let's say. Now this will make more sense. All right. So in this way, your selections, your graphs and your chart should go hand in hand. For example, I have 21 lines over here. It's very uncatchy to the eyes. Maybe it's better to show continents over here. So that's what we need to keep in mind. What type of analysis we want to show and how we want to show. Okay, so be very pragmatic in approach. What a front ender will would like to see. Okay, and always try to make sense of the graphs before. So you should know what that exact graph means before going to the anyone. Okay, and I'm talking from a project point of view because there are some cases where you might need to suggest some of the graphs or the reports to the users, to the prospect as well. Okay, so this is how we can cover the chart. You can create a different number series, sorry, different color series, anything. I'm not going into detail of that, frankly speaking. So you can change it to summer, you can change it to spring, and you can have any number of time rainbow, Windows 8 or default. I like to keep it default. So yeah. You can follow any color code series. There are multiple options here. I want you to explore these options. Why these are important? Because you can show some embedded chart. So you can show line graph as well as the bar graph within the same chart. So you select something, you select the series, and you say, okay, in Germany, I want to show it as bar graph. So you will show Germany as bar, and so on. Okay. So that's how you can go ahead with setting up this series and options. All right. I will keep it to you to go through this color combinations and size, and most of them are self-explanatory. Let's go through the slides to know if we miss on something. Charts, multiple information, the same layout area. The same layout area, chart options, Cartesian types we discussed. We discuss about series type. We discuss, I want you to explore this so that we can combine different types of charts. Switch rows and columns. Sometimes you want to show it horizontally, vertically. You can show that. Okay. Elements. Go through this. Don't have to show anything more in this. Legends. Yes, this is something important in a chart. Sometimes you want to show the legend. Sometimes you don't want to show the legend. So one of the option for the legend is under where it is under Cartesian option. You will see the option for to show the labels or the show the legends or not. Cartesian options. If I say show labels, the moment I show the show labels, everywhere you will start seeing the numbers on this chart. Okay. You want to rotate it by some angle, you want to rotate it, you can do that. You want to keep the marker as triangle or circle, you can do that. Okay. I will keep it for your disposal. One important thing here, the drill down functionality, what we checked. So to do a deep dive analysis where we double click on the data view and do it by anything. The same type of functionality is available for on all the charts. You simply need to double click and drill down by a particular option, and you can drill down from that. All right, but be mindful of that whenever you do a drill down on a chart, it is always a data view. Okay, it is always going to be a data view. So this is how we need to do that. One of the important chart which I am taking as a last part, and then we will move to the mask and buttons and the labels, is a geo map. Okay, people always are fascinated with the geo maps. People in this business prospect, because they would like to show the reports by their different geographical charts, etc. Okay, the geographical charts actually are nothing but uh, can be shown on the represented on the map. And if you ask me, it's very straightforward. The only thing is, if you are showing it by branches or by customers, you need to have a latitude and longitude information where you want to place that geo chart. Okay, if it's a branch, you should have the branch latitude and longitude. How you will get a latitude and longitude? Go to the board manual. You will find the websites which gives you the latitude and longitude information, or you can ask it to your customers. That's it. They can give you this information. Okay, otherwise you can go through this uh, links and you can find the latitude and longitude. Okay, then what we have to do, we simply have to drag and drop the geo map. Where is the geo map? Perfect. You will see these geo maps are present over here, correct? It shows where the presence of what? So presence of branch. So I go here, I go to the layout. You will see the latitude and longitude are available for me at what level? At a branch level. Okay. So simply what I need to do is I need to go to the map and I just sort it if I show it as a bubble or if I want to show it as an area, and it will be shown over here. Okay. So we just need to use the latitude and longitude correctly, and all these geo maps are assigned. Okay. Do try it yourself and let me know if you have any questions on this. All right. Okay. Again, as you see, sometimes it is hanging. It's hanging. Laptop. Those are done. So you can explore this option. It's very self-explanatory actually. Okay. So please go through this. Another chart is the bullet chart. So you can use any number of chart actually from the wide range of options what we have. I would like you to explore each of those charts, create a separate screen for each chart, and try to explore how those are created and uh, what are the important things to be keep in mind when designing these charts. Okay, we have a tree map, heat map, etc. All those maps are very self-explanatory when you go there, and everywhere the setup is same. Okay. Now, to conclude on the topic, I will be a little fast because we are very limited time here, 18 minutes. So I would be like to make it very quick. So for example, what happens is whenever you create any application, all right, your application should look like an application. Okay, it shouldn't be a random haphazard manner where you have anything placed anywhere. The entire canvas is used to paint anything whatever you would like to have. Okay, so the answer is no, no, you don't do that. All right. So you should have a proper defined template which should be followed by all the screens which can be form a standard background for you. All right. So for example, let me show you one example. So I have this example where the home screen have this different template. While I go to each of the screen, I will always see a blue a horizontal bar and a blue vertical bar on all these screens. Okay. So I can go to another screen, I will see the same thing. I will go another screen, I will go and see the same thing. Okay. So how you can do is you can go to the screen properties. All right. In the screen properties, you will see something called as mask over here. You can click on mask. And what is the rationale of using a mask? So what I want to do is on the heading, I want to show some high level KPIs and I would like to give the link of everything. So I will put it at a heading. Okay. On the left hand side, whatever the filtering criteria I am going to use, I am going to use that. Okay. Let's say I want to make certain, let's make it a bit darker in color. Okay. So I go to the color and I choose a darker color over here. And this I would choose a more lighter color. Okay. And that's it. Now, whenever I'm going to use that mask as a template, all the reports are going to show with the same report. Now let's try to create one more report on the same front. Okay. Let's say I'm going to create one more screen. And I am going to show some reports over here. But where to place report? So I need to define a mask to this screen. Okay. How I will define a mask to this screen? I will go to this mask. Okay. And I will add this new screen what I created into the list of screens. Okay. And I save the changes. Now the moment I open that new screen, it will open with the mask, isn't it? Okay. And now I just need to place my reports and place my uh, filters and selectors over here so that uh, it will see the same throughout the template. Okay. For example, I want to create a link or uh, something like a website. It already shows here like this, but these are some advanced objects which are menus and which you can explore yourself. These are all the menus. Okay. Uh, let's say you want to create some button or some kind of a way where you want to create your own navigation. So what you can do is you can drag and drop your label menu over here and you can define a shape. Let's say when you click on this circle, or rather when you click on this uh, image, okay, it should come to the home screen. So whenever you click on this image, it should come to the home screen. So I will put it over here. Okay. And I should define an action. What type of action I go to? I go to screen. Go to which screen? I let's say go to home screen and I save it. Okay. Now whenever I click on this, it will redirect me to the home screen, which is my this screen. Okay. So in this way, you can place a link on different buttons and you can have multiple buttons on the screen. You can have go back button, you can have go forward button, you can have any number of buttons in your template, in your mask. Okay. So we talked about mask, which I showed you how we can set up a mask. We talked about labels, how we are showing the labels. And labels and buttons are majorly the similar things. These are the type of actions it can perform. Okay. One of a good thing or one of the potential important thing for the label is you can use it for some display functionalities. So whatever the selection you have done on the screen, you can use these substitution formulas. Okay. And you can show the selections on whatever selections you have done on the screen. You can show it on the screen. So if I go into the seasonality, all right, you see the budget year is showing. This is my label. It is showing with respect to @year. So you can use the substitution formula to show what are your current selections. All right. Labels are also used to show the KPIs on the screen as well. Okay. So some things like this. Review. Not here. So you see some things like this where you want to show the KPIs at a high level. You must have seen it with some other tools as well where we show the KPIs. You can configure a layout on your label and you can show it on the face on the report. So this is nothing but a label which you can show it which uses the same layout configuration what you use. Okay. Anything? I think that is fine. That is fine. Menu, I will keep it to you to decide. The most important thing which I would like to immediately cover uh, is the capsule design. Okay. Who tells you what design should look like or what comes as a design? Okay. It's something intuitive or it's something we need to design as the project flows. All right. And trust me, prospects or the you business user will focus on the design as well because it's them. They don't care about what is in the background. The front end should look appealing. Okay. Similarly, if you are doing some POC and you are trying to win some prospect, you need to show the data in a greater in a visual consideration so that it makes and it appeals to the business user. Okay. So first of all, your graphical element should have been finalized. So before starting any design on the front end, you should decide early on what are the fonts, colors, and what are the logos you are going to use on your report. All right. How do I do that? Anyone try to guess? Let's say I give you an example of suppose uh, um, I don't know, Amazon. I give an example of Amazon. I want you to create a dashboard for Amazon. What colors will come into your mind, or what colors, what number formats, or what logo will come into your mind? Anyone? How will you think about it?
Uh, Logo is like using app logo,
Okay.
and color is white and light blue color using.
Okay. Why? What was the rationale behind choosing that?
Because in
Excuse me.
yes.
Yeah, Arnav, tell me.
I Aniket, could you please close the chat box?
Yeah. Okay. So generally, whenever you do any design, and let's say you don't know nothing, all right, what you can first do is always go to the website of that particular prospect or particular client. Let's say Capgemini is a client. Okay, forget about Amazon. Let's say Capgemini is a client. All right, go to their website, see how they have designed their website. You will find their logo and their website. You will find the font they are using for their website. You will find the color. What is the most important color they are going to use as their corporate font template? Okay, or go to the official website of any of the clients. So you will find it over there. Okay. And that is going to give you an idea of what type of color combinations you are going to use and what type of logos you are going to use or what type of font you are going to use. Okay. So That's why it is important. So decide early on those things, colors, formats, and fonts. Okay. All your reports should be consistent and coherent. Rely on copy pasting and ensuring the consistency. For example, if I want to create a report everywhere, okay. Let's create one report at one graph and one graph in one screen and try to copy the report. In this example, I shown you how you can copy the layout, right? Copy the layout. There is one more option you can copy. Let me show it over here. Okay. Let's say I want to copy this format. Simply, whenever you are designing, all right, rather than recreating and dragging and dropping the data view, just select that object, copy that object, and paste that object. That's it. So that you don't need to redo this configuration again and again. So if I change the header of this color to red, this also might have changed to red, and so on. So that's how you can do that rather than manually creating each and object, every object. Take advantage of fixed width. So let's say, for example, for some reason, the width of this has been changed. Now I have to make the same width, all these objects of a same width. I can select all these objects and I can use these functions to distribute them, to align them and use the width. So I can select all of them and I can put the width for all of them. Okay. I can put the same width for all of them and it will be applied to all of them. So use options like this to make and to fit everything to your width and to fit your size. Data views and containers, ensure data views and containers are sized properly and minimize the scroll. Okay. So basically what it is showing is anyway I am going to have a scroll in this data. Okay. So try to avoid showing the scroll bar on the right hand side as well, because anyway I am going to have, so it's very frustrating for the user to use two scroll bars. Okay. That's how it has to be also made visually appealing. The application should be built and the flow should be thought thoroughly. So the planning application could be a metro station like stop where you complete one step and then proceed to the next steps. A BI application can be very interactive and can go from one report to another and so on. So always think about the user journey for those reports. All right. You can use multiple containers, your menus to club the reports together and make it more appealing. All right. Okay. Then there is something in board which is called as presentation mode, which you can save and add to the presentation, which we actually use and could replace PowerPoints when we fix those and save those presentations correctly. Okay, please go and explore all of these options in the e-learning and uh, get yourself comfortable with all of this. Okay. Any questions?